We are still in the Everstorfer Forst, very close to the other structures that we just saw. And in the midst of this denuded, deforested landscape, we have the Devil's Oven. Wonder what the devil's cooking. What do you think the devil's cooking, Jim?
Bread, of course.
So the Teufelsbackofen is the local name for this structure. And isn't this dolmen adorable? I mean, this is just the cutest dolmen you could ever imagine. And it is typical of the dolmens in this area in that it's on a little raised mound. You have the curbstones all around it. You see that in pretty much every dolmen that you see up in this region, but you don't see them anywhere else in Europe. Now, the local people called this the Devil's Oven, and as we discussed when we were in France, people in the past didn't understand where these structures came from because they didn't have any memory of the Neolithic era. And so, as far as they were concerned, these stones had always been there, and they didn't know how to lift these heavy stones, so they assumed that giants must have done it or demons must have done it. But we know that people did it. It wasn't aliens, it wasn't demons, it was people. They got a bunch of people together because you finally had some people who were collecting some power and influence and extra resources. And so they could get people to come from a distance away and all gather together and build these megalithic structures as monuments, and then they would have a big feast at the end of it. So they've been doing some recent logging in this area by this dolmen. So this has been all clear cut. This used to be completely forested, and so now the dolmen is just kind of hanging out with 6 trees around it. It's kind of disappointing that this thing is no longer surrounded by forest. I mean, I guess they're got to do what they got to do, but it's just going to be kind of out here in the open for a long time until these trees grow back, which kind of kills the mood. And people like to come and leave flowers and vegetables and other offerings at these sites still. And then they crawl around and scrawl graffiti in the dolmen because, you know, that's what people do. And then right next to the Devil's Oven is this long barrow. It's not a passage grave though, because it doesn't have that 90-degree side chamber. But it's a long grave. And in the center, you have the burial chamber. Which really looks like a grave. Well, thanks for joining me on this visit to the Devil's Oven in northern Germany. If you learned something, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more history and travel videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Tschüss!